Well, welcome to Ravensdale Bible Academy. And today's course is an introduction to biblical marriage. And today's specific lesson is from Galatians 5:14, which is love languages. What are love languages? Have you ever heard of that phrase or that term? The idea of love languages comes from the idea of thinking of the other person's desires, think of the other person's things that they love rather than your own. And so we see, like in Galatians 5:14, this passage says the whole law is fulfilled in one statement. And that statement is, you shall love your neighbor as yourself. And so the idea there, and like Philippians chapter 2, is, do nothing from selfishness or empty conceit, but with the humility of mind, regard other people as more important than yourself. The real key there is to take the attention off of yourself, being selfish, and putting that attention on others, being selfless. Now, this is something that we really struggle with as individuals, especially as Americans, is we're really driven to think about ourselves. And we mask that as a positive, right? Hey, you've got to be determined. You got to have dreams. You got to have vision. You got to have goals, be a go-getter, go, go, go. And those things are good, but at what expense? And what they tend to do is make us only think about ourselves, what we want, what we desire. And that can be a bad thing. It's especially a bad thing when you bring that into a marriage. When you bring yourself into a marriage and two people are coming in, just think about this for a second. You have two individual people. They have their individual male and female differences, and all they want is what they selfishly want. And so what you could have then is, well, you have two people, right? And really their whole desire goal is completely opposite. And so you wonder why people, fall apart. You wonder why people drift and lose interest. Well, they're not thinking of the other person. If you're constantly thinking about pleasing the other person, if you're constantly loving them in the way it says, that you treat them like you would want to be treated, well, that means you have to think about those things that they like. Think about the things that they do. So, what movie do you pick to watch? A movie that you like because you like, action movies, or do you pick a rom-com, a romantic comedy? Do you pick going to a sporting event, or do you pick going to the play? Do you want to sleep on, Sunday afternoons versus going hiking? And so you have to think about the other person. Well, the idea of finding the love language is finding that love language of the other person. And so we see that there's kind of 5 basic categories of love languages. And so the first one is words of affirmation. Some people just need and love to be praised or talked to, or just, what they really like is just words. They like talking. They like being told that they look pretty. They like being complimented. They like conversation, period. They just like to talk and to be together talking. And so words of affirmation, positive words, are really what they like more than anything. And by the way, remember, none of these are better than the other. These are individual choices and preferences, and so we're not ranking these in any kind of order. A second aspect of a love language is acts of service. So these are the things that you do for other people. So because I love you, I don't tell you I love you. I just go out, I chop wood, and I bring you a cord of wood. That's how I show you that I love you. I make dinner, I clean the windows. I physically do something that you'll like, right? It's an action. It's an act of serving you. Could be the places I take you to, can be the things, that I do for you, right? These are actions, these are acts. A third aspect to that is gifts. Some people like to receive things. They like a physical gift. You can say you love me. You can say wonderful things to me. That's awesome. but I like a gift. I want to get something wrapped. I want an item. These are people who like jewelry, right? You know, they like to get gifts of jewelry. They like to go shopping. They like to get a gift of, you know, an outfit. They like gifts. A fourth aspect is quality time. You know, you've heard the statement quantity versus quality. A lot of people's love language, look, I just want to be with you. I want to spend time with you. I want that good quality time, just you and me, not just always in a group, you know, kind of setting, but it's like, I want to be with you. I want to spend my time. I want to share my life with you, and I want that good quality time. And then a fifth aspect of a love language is physical touch. You know, you'll see this. Some people like touching other people. Some people always like being touched. Maybe it's curling the hair, a rubbing of the back, a holding of the hands, obviously kissing, right? And so, you know, physical touch is their love language. Now, keep in mind, you know, most people are going to like certain aspects of all of these, right? I mean, who doesn't want to have positive words of affirmation or, you know, acts of service, gifts, quality time, and physical touch? You know, these are all part of a loving relationship. But most of us have one specific one that we value or that we put more weight on. So in a marriage, keep in mind, love languages, which means you need to look for them, you need to identify them, and if you can't see them or spot them, then you need to talk about it and ask and communicate what those love languages are, because love languages are important in a good marriage.